I was watching Smokey Glow, who I am a big fan of, and she just recently did a video called something like makeup I would buy if my collection was destroyed. So basically the idea was like, if your entire collection went up in flames, what things would you rebuy? So I was thinking, oh, I should do something like that. That would be fun. And then I thought, why don't I do a full face of makeup using those products and only those products and as many of those products as I can, you know, just to see if the choices that I would make are at all feasible. Do they go together? Do they work well together? Are the colors compatible? I'm just curious. I'm curious. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to do the whole shebang from priming to foundation and on to other things, hopefully. Because you know I can tend to talk a lot and then I end up cutting things out because it's like, this is going to be 5 years long. Nobody needs that. So, okay. Going into my favorite primer. I actually have two favorite primers because realistically I would buy them both, and I also do use two primers because I am just like extra. I don't know what to say about myself. There's no excuse for it. First favorite primer. Too Faced Hangover RX. So this is a primer that I'm very fond of because I am all about over moisturizing my face. The thing is, I actually have oily to combo to oily skin, but one of the ways that I deal with my skin being exceptionally oily sometimes is to over moisturize so that my skin calms down and stops pumping out so much moisture. Like my skin is going, I want more moisture, I want more moisture, and so it keeps throwing more moisture out there. If I try to dry my face out, then it's just going to get out of control, and then there's going to be a whole situation. Okay, and then next up, I'm going to be using this Becca First Light Priming Filter Instant Complexion Refresh. So right now this is my second favorite primer. I do have other primers that are fantastic. I have the Tatcha Silk Base Primer. I have that Patrice one that everybody thinks is a dupe, but it actually, in my personal opinion, not that much like the Tatcha one, but I have those. I have Professional. I did find that when I use this, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't notice any difference, but I get a lot of compliments, so I figure people are seeing something that I'm not seeing. I'm just going to go with that because I can't think of any other explanation. Okay, so those are the primers that I have decided to use. For foundation, it was sort of a smackdown between the CC Cream and my Lancome Tintage Idol in 420. What made me choose this one is actually because I'm filming this video. If I use a more full coverage foundation in here, I'm going to end up making myself look like a cake fest because I'm still getting used to this setup and it's just messing me up. It's messing my head up, and so we're going to use this. However, I will say it has a terrible shade range, which is why when I run out of it, which as you can see it's almost done, I'm going to switch to Thrive Cosmetics. My color is one of the darkest shades in this CC Cream. It makes me feel sad inside. It's one thing to have something like this in my personal collection, but I don't want to put it on this channel, you know? I don't want to feature a product that's not going to be usable by the majority of people who are inclined to watch a person such as myself. But in the meantime, I'm wearing this one today because if I use a full coverage foundation in this lighting, I'm going to turn into a cake monster. This is actually also a holy grail tool for me. This is that controversial Juno & Co. sponge. I did buy it because of reviews. Later, of course, we find out that a lot of the reviews were undisclosed sponsorships, but it was cheap, so I got it anyway. And I was interested in the whole fuzziness of the sponge, and it is a lovely sponge. You could use it like a regular sponge, but you use it sort of like a combination between a sponge and a brush. And it does end up giving you a lovely finish. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to, in the interest of doing my thing and also being a glamour puss, because that's just like the way that I roll, I'm going to put the powder on top of my, you'll see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is one of the two loose powders that I decided I could not live without, and it is the Bare Minerals Illuminating Mineral Veil. Basically, it's a beautiful loose, sort of shimmery, translucent powder. If you put it on under a foundation, you end up looking sort of, you know, like that. You could still kind of layer other things on top of it, and it's not going to turn into a dry, deserty cake fest because, I don't know, it just doesn't. And that's a beautiful thing. This thing, so this is not like a bathroom wipe. This is the Kleenex Wet Wipes Gentle Clean Hand and Face Wipes. No harsh chemicals. I use it like a makeup wipe. I'm doing my makeup and I get makeup on my fingers. One day, I will wear my hair very nicely. Like, for example, today I got my hair in braids so that it comes out like, you know, loopy and stuff for work tomorrow. As you can see, coverage, not bad. Most importantly though, look at this glow. I don't even have highlighter on. The thing about that CC cream though, is that they do require a ton of powder to set. So which means that I have an excuse to pull out my very favorite powder, which is the Beauty Bakery Flour in Yellow. It is a little bit warm. Sometimes the makeup that I find that matches my skin is a little bit like gray. When that happens, which is a little bit happening right now, I'm not sure how much it shows on the camera, but it's a little bit happening right now. When that happens, I will take my beautiful Real Techniques Big Fluffy Brush and go in with the Beauty Bakery powder because it is a little bit warming since it is a yellow powder. I've got powder flying all over the place. It's all kinds of situations, but you know, we're gonna work with it. This is one of the first ones that I bought when I got back into makeup, but after I ran out of it, I was like, $24 for powder. I don't know how I feel about that, so I went ahead and bought different powders, but you know what? I'm back. I am back to this one, baby, because it is the best. When I get the Thrive Cosmetics one, general, face base done. I can still see my scars, but you know what? My skin is a mess. I'm always going to be able to see my scars. Nothing I could do about that. So, number one eyeshadow primer is going to be, of course, Urban Decay Primer Potion Anti-Aging. It would be lovely if I could do anything without getting cat hair all over myself. Like, my cat is right over there. He's staring at me. He's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing things? He's just so difficult, you know what I mean? I'm going to try not to forget that I have eyebrows today. And yes, I did notice that my eyebrows were a little bit, like, messed up last time. I'm just not good at eyebrows. Like, I've never done them until recently. This is why I'm going to Ulta, you know? We'll see what I have to aim for. In the meantime, just pretend I don't have eyebrows. Like, just pretend I shaved them off. I mean, they're still going to be here, and I'm still going to do them, but just pretend that that's not the case, so that I don't have to feel awkward about my total lack of eyebrow skills. Okay, so basically, this is just LA Girl slim, skinny, whatever eyebrow pencil. It's literally the only eyebrow product I own but I'm gonna get better. I intend to go to Ulta in the second week of November, and then we'll address this situation. Like, I understand there's something about eyebrows framing the face, but being the frame for the face, but I don't like frames. Never been into frames. You know, borders are just kind of like, I like to break free of all my borders. I'm not about that kind of limited life. Hard to judge until I put the eye makeup on, you know? So I'm gonna leave it kind of like, just try not to get too distracted, because I swear I will fix them in some way, shape, or form later. I don't know. Eyebrows, they're my sworn enemy. Okay, so eyeshadow palette. I've got this Norvina palette, but while that is one of my top palettes, I did actually choose 3. Because realistically speaking, I would buy all 3 immediately. So I have the Norvina palette, I have this Too Faced Chocolate Gold palette, and then I have this infamous Melt Cosmetics Gemini palette. For today's eye look, what shall I begin with? I'm going to start with a base shade in the form of this color Luna, because it is, of course, the closest to my skin tone. So the Gemini palette, it's famous. This palette caused, as you may remember, a storm when it was previewed. Everybody wanted it. It sold out like 97 times. I was being notified when it came back into stock, and they pinged me at work. And by the time I got home, it was gone. Yellow, not yellow. I should have gone with the long comb. Daylight reveals everything, you know what I mean? How you know that I love YouTube, because it is Sunday and I have bothered to put on a shirt instead of wearing my pajamas all day. Well, I'm still wearing my pajamas, but only the bottom part. Talking about crease colors, we're going to go in with, let's try to see how many different things I can use to block mirrors. Okay, we're going to go in with Cupcake. I'm gonna do more of like a pink toned look, pinky goldy, because that's what's going to work as the common theme between all three palettes. I've never tried Melt Cosmetics stacks, but this palette makes me want to buy all of them. There is a lot of kickback, but to me, I don't care. You may have noticed that I have a very flat face, so I do try to go a little bit heavier in the crease just because I have a flat face. And then also I have a shallow head, so I'm gonna look like two-dimensional, but then like I have a big nose. Since I have this situation, I have an excuse to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette because I can just use this one, Passion, in the crease. So I love Melt Cosmetics formula, apparently. I love Anastasia Beverly Hills formula, like, for serious. Anastasia Beverly Hills is the only brand that I tend to almost automatically purchase palettes from. Obviously, if it's a palette that I'm just not going to use and not going to like, I'm not going to buy it, but I'm pretty inclined to just go with it if I can. Okay, so now that I have properly defined my crease and avoided substantial fallout, even though the palettes have fair amount of kickback, we're going to think about what to do with my lid color. For my lid color, I think that what I'm going to do is, my all over lid color, I'm going to use shade Rose Gold, which, as you may be able to tell, I have murdered. I already had Rose Gold in the single form, and yet when I saw that they were putting Rose Gold in this palette, I was like, oh, any chance that I was not going to purchase the Norvina palette went out the window. It is beautiful. Plus, I have a hard time motivating myself to use single shadows. I do have them in a magnetic palette, but just don't use it that much. And now I'm going to deepen the outer corner of my eye using this one right here, Live in Large. This was one of the first palettes that I purchased when I got back into makeup. One of the first high-end palettes. So that's looking pretty good. I do want to just keep building it up a little bit. Yeah, this is me before work, like every single morning. And then I'm going to continue to deepen it a little bit more at the very, very edge with the shade Drama. It's interesting, you know, this is definitely, I guess, Norvina's version of Soft Glam, since Soft Glam was Anastasia's version. I'm going to go back in with the Melt Cosmetics palette and just put a little bit of Gemini in the inner corner. So this pink has sort of like a goldy, mustardy undertone. See, I've got this lovely like sunset sort of ombre thing going on. I'm going to just go back in with Passion a little bit in order to make sure that my crease is still properly defined. I'm going to lift out some of the color on the very outer edge because it's not supposed to be there. Just a little bit of fallout. Just a little bit of fallout. Let's talk about the lower lash line. What are we doing for the lower lash line? The very first thing that we're going to do is use this Maybelline Lasting Drama Light Liner in White Luster on the waterline. And here I am looking like a bit of a reverse raccoon. So here's what happened. I went to take care of a cat situation, and when I came back, I had smacked the phone that I used to record and also forgot to put the microphone back on. So I am now recording a voiceover, and it will be me talking about what I'm doing and also possibly roasting myself. Just pretend that this is an episode of MST3K or something to that effect. Alright, that's all. Back to the video. And I'm going to be going in with the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise eyeliner in rose gold. I do like this eyeliner, even though everybody else doesn't like the eyeliner. I don't use it for eyeliner, though. I sort of use it to put color where I don't feel like putting eyeshadow. So as you can see, I'm going to be putting it under my eye and thinking about how if people don't like it and it gets discontinued, that means that I'm going to have to deal with putting rose gold eyeshadow under my eye, which would be tragic. Nobody wants me to do that. I don't want to do that, so we should just all buy it so that I don't have to ever do that. The next step is to use the Stila Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadow in Kitten Karma. It is my favorite of the Glitter and Glow eyeshadow line, and it kind of goes with the goldy pinky theme anyway, and so that is what I will be using. And I'm going to be using it both as an inner corner highlight and on the inner portion of my upper eyelid and under my lash line on the bottom in order to kind of brighten up the eyes, because I have small eyes and it's a very tragic situation that I like to try to mitigate by using makeup tricks that I barely know. Thank you, YouTube, for teaching me how to do that. That means it's concealer time. I'm going to be using the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in Golden. I believe that's the one that I'm using. I try not to use too much concealer because I do have creases under my eyes that are creasing independent of the concealer, and as people have said before, there is no such thing as a creaseless concealer if your actual eyes crease. So I just apply it to the darkest portion of my under eye circles, which are epic, and go from there. Here I am blending out the concealer with a Japanese damp sponge. Look at those dark circles! Anyway, this is the only concealer that I have ever found that has done anything at all for my dark circles. That doesn't mean that it makes my circles go away. I'm not sure there's anything that can actually take care of circles this epic, but it does a better job than anything else I found. So next in line is setting the concealer so that it doesn't crease any more than it has to. And one of my tricks here is that I use an illuminating powder, in this case specifically the Bare Minerals Mineral Real Illuminating Powder, because it does reflect some of the light back and make them look a little bit less dark. In order to try to keep the concealer from creasing as much as possible, I will set it immediately, not only with the powder but also with a setting spray. I will apply it with a sponge so that I don't get the spray all over my face. The result of all that, not bad considering where we started. I rarely use an actual eyeliner just for some reason, but I do occasionally line my eyes using other things. In this case, I'm using the Maybelline Color Tattoo Liquid Eyeshadow in Fool's Gold. The idea isn't really to change the shape of the eyes, just to add a little bit of definition and a bit of thickness to the lash line. Now let's drama it up. Now I don't know about you, but I do like to add a lot of drama to my mascara, which means that I'm using Benefit's Bad Gal Bang Mascara, which is my favorite mascara. I know that some people have some problems with it, but I think it just depends on what kind of eyelashes you have. My eyelashes are not particularly thin, but they are extremely short. If you are liking a mascara that's going to lengthen, but you aren't worried about volume, this may be the mascara for you. Otherwise, I would say stay away from it because it's definitely not volumizing. Listen, don't judge me. I can't be the only one who does weird things while putting on makeup, okay? It's my version of the beauty guru posathon. And so is this. Going back to behaving as a proper beauty tuber would, I'm going to be contouring my face using the BH Cosmetics by It's My Ray Ray palette. I do use the shade Brownie, even though it is rather on the dark side. I think I've gone over this before. I do like to use a smaller amount and then sort of blend it out. No one wants to be a ghost, so I will be bronzing my face using Bare Minerals Warmth. You want to try to count the number of mirrors I've used in this video? As per usual, my first concern is reducing the eggness of my overwhelming 92 head. And it's time for blush. I'm not really big on heavy blush, but I do like to use Milani's Rose D'Oro. It's one of the few blushes that I really like. Mostly I'm just looking at my cat and thinking about how much she needs to be groomed. But anyway, blush. We are quickly approaching the end of our shared makeup journey. Next we're going to go into highlighter, and I'm going to be using my very favorite highlighter, which is the Artist Couture by Jackie Aina La Peach, which came out last year. It was supposed to be limited edition, but I think it's still being sold, which is actually good because I would hate to run out and not be able to replace it. There's just no reason to cut out the satisfying sound of a setting spray. So for lips, I'm going to be going in with my very favorite lip stain, the fantastic Tony Moly Red Shocking. This can be difficult to get hold of in the United States. I know that they sell them in stores in other countries, but I personally had to order it from eBay. And that's it. So thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it, and I can't stress that enough. I actually really need makeup friends. I'm the only person that I know who routinely wears makeup, and it's a very sad and lonely life. Actually, I'm just being dramatic, but I do actually, but I do want makeup friends. So thank you for being here, and if you enjoyed this video, or if you even just see potential in me as a YouTuber, please consider subscribing to my channel, leaving a comment, let me know what you think, hit the like button or the dislike button, communicate your thoughts, whatever it is that you want to do. I really appreciate it, and I will see you on my next video, which should be going up on Sunday, assuming that nothing terrible happens, which I can't guarantee. This video is, I think, going to be a little bit late because of the technical problems, but I'm trying to do Wednesdays and Sundays, or Sundays and Wednesdays, depending on how you want to look at it. That's what I'm trying out. I do work full-time, so, you know, it's a struggle, but I'm going to make it work, or I'm going to try to make it work, and if I can't make it work, then I will adjust my scheduling. But anyway, I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye. What else? What else? Nothing. We're good.